Hey, good afternoon, my friends and fellow Stop Doing Nothing fans. This is Patrick Allmond coming to you live from Oklahoma City. And if you're watching, do me a favor and drop a comment below, and also share this with your friends so we can get some more people on the fan page as we have our live show every Thursday. Hopefully you've joined us for past Thursdays, and you'll put this on your calendar every Thursday at 2 o'clock Central Time. We are doing a live session. We skip one every now and then, but for the most part, we do a live session every single Thursday. First of all, if you've got any questions for me or about some of the things I've talked in the past, do me a favor. You can either comment below, and I'll see them as we're chatting, or you can also text me at 405-251-2022. Today we're going to be talking about three different things. The first one's going to be a post I want you to go back and read that I put on the Facebook page. Earlier this week I put in a post about abundance and believing in abundance before you can do anything else in life. And I wanted to go into that a little bit deeper to explain what I'm talking about. Obviously, you've heard me say many times in the past that before you can actually try to do something, you have to already formulate it in your mind, which I believe what's the definition of abundance, for you to believe that something's actually there. Now, many of you kind of have a half belief that abundance is a thing. You kind of say, well, yeah, I can see somebody else doing it, or somebody else has accomplished something because they were given a silver spoon in their mouth, or because they have good genetics, or something like that. You believe in abundance, but you only believe abundance is there for people who are preordained to have abundance. And I'm going to tell you that's not the case. I've seen many cases in my past where a belief system, which is the beginning of success, but a core belief system is what drove all the success. That believing in something and almost like tasting it in your mouth and believing in your head, fabricating it. This is why vision boards are so incredible, that you can put something up on a vision board and say, oh, that's the kind of day I want to have, or that's the kind of beach I want to be on, or that's the kind of car I want to have. Now, those are some materialistic examples, but you can put other things on a vision board. Now, I want you, if you're the kind of person who's having trouble believing that you can get what you want to get in life, then that's what I want you to do. That's your homework for today, is to come up with something like a vision board. It doesn't have to be like a big, giant, massive wall type of vision board. It should be something maybe small. Maybe start with something easy like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, like something you'd have very easily right there. An 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and just write some simple words on it, but put those in a place where you can see them all the time. I have some of my visions, as you can't see them right here from the computer. I have some of my visions just to the left of my monitor on a piece of paper. And they're right at eye level. I kid you not. They are right over there at eye level. I have no choice but to see them as I'm working at the computer, and I read them repeatedly. Who knows, maybe 100 times a day, the way my eyes move. But that's one way. If you're the kind of person who kind of halfway believes in abundance, that's the homework I want you to do this week, is for you to write down the things that you want and put them in some place which is in your even line of sight of your eye line, that you can see them every single day. If you want to be a little bit, closer about it, you can put them actually right there on the edge of the monitor, for those of you that love having sticky notes on the edge of your monitor. But abundance cannot be this kind of half-ass belief, half mindset kind of thing. Abundance has to be this belief that you decide, and once you decide, it is done. It's done. I'm a big fan of Will Smith, and there's a video of his, and if you guys want it, I'll share it below. There's a video of his where he says, once he decides something, it's done. It's just a matter of everybody else catching up and believing it. He says, I want to do this. I want to make $2 million. I want to be in this movie. So it's done. Now, what do I got to do to work backwards to get there? That is probably one of the most powerful things I've ever heard of a person that I have adopted myself, is to put my mind to something and then work backwards to get it. So that's the thing I want you to do this week, is to put your mind really to something, but quantify it and put it down and put it someplace where you cannot help but see it all the time. Do you have to get it as a tattoo? Well, maybe so. That's kind of extreme. I've had T-shirts made, some Stop Doing Nothing T-shirts made, so when I exercise or when I do things that are challenging, that I see the words that I think about that kind of lift me up and motivate me. Okay, so that's the first thing of the three things we're going to talk about. Today. The second one is from a book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Actually, the last two are this right here. This is the book right here. It's really interesting because, a lot of the really powerful books in the world tend to be really thick. This one is nothing. It's goodness gracious. It's 52 pages, and 3 or 4 pages of that are upfront content and index kind of stuff. I see you. And it's the preface and it's the forward, then it goes into thought and character. And there are 2 blocks here that I want to read to you. The first one is, and by the way, obviously I'm suggesting you get this book, but this is the first one right here. Let me see if I can say, here we go. And I heard Tony Robbins say this once, and this is what triggered me to even buy this book. A man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, man ascends to the divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. Between these 2 extremes are all of the grades of character. Man is their maker and master. So what does that mean? That means what I was just talking about earlier is having the belief system that will either dive you into the depths of hell when it comes to financial and spiritual and physical things, or it'll have the belief system that will lift you up to ascend to possibilities you could not have conceived of in a previous, I'm not going to say a previous life, but in a previous way of thought. And it all starts with thought. If you go to the gym, if you run, if you row, if you lift weights, if you go to the Stairmaster, if you play basketball, all that stuff starts with thoughts. All the basketball players and football players and hockey players and baseball players that do great things, they are constantly obsessed with thinking about their great thing. So that, by the way, on the book, that is in the very first chapter, page 3. And the last thing I want to talk with you today about, and I like your comments on this too, is something else let me see, here we go. This is one right here. Men, I've always been a big fan of the phrase act as if, and so I found a phrase in here that kind of really personifies that. Men do not attract that which they want, but that which they are. Their whims, fancies, and ambitions are thwarted at every step, but their innermost thoughts and desires are fed their own food, be it foul or clean. The divinity that shapes our ends is in ourselves. It is our very self. Man is manacled only by himself. Thought and action are the jailers of fate. They imprison, being base. They also the angels of freedom. They liberate, being noble. Not what he wishes and prays for, but does a man get, but what he justly earns. His wishes and prayers are only gratified and answered when they harmonize with his thoughts and actions. That is a very long way of saying, if you ain't thinking about it, it ain't going to happen. That's plain and simple. I mean, you can go to 7-Eleven and buy those lottery tickets and scratch those off all you want. You can cross your fingers that a rich aunt shows up one day and makes you an instant millionaire. You can think about exercise and fitness and say, I'll get to that tomorrow or the next day or the next week or the next month or the next year. But the person who stands up right now and takes the action of some of the things I just talked about in this book by James Allen, and by the way, I have no profit sharing in this book whatsoever. I just love the damn book. The person who applies those thoughts right there is the person that will do amazing things. And that's really what I want for you. And that's some of the basic thoughts when I think about Stop Doing Nothing, is that thoughts matter. That's why, one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of watching so much TV is because I don't want TV and news and CNN and Fox and all the stations that do nothing but hype things up. I don't want them controlling my thoughts, and I don't want them controlling your thoughts either. So if you really want to improve your circumstances, find ways to improve what you stick inside of your eyeballs and what you stick inside your ear hole. And it may sound corny, but it matters. It matters the people that you're around. It matters the things you listen to. It matters what you listen to in your car. It matters what you watch on TV. And some people think, oh, that's just, I listen to the radio or the TV for mindless entertainment. No, people that are achieving great things, they have a purpose for turning on a TV. Okay, let me go back here. There are times for mindless entertainment. I'm all for that. However, I'm not for like 6 or 7 hours of mindless entertainment every single night. If you're the kind of person that comes home at 5 o'clock at night, you change clothes, you're in front of the TV from 5:30 to 10:30, mindless entertainment, and you're always going to wonder why you're stuck in your dead-end 9-to-5 job. That's because you're pissing away valuable brain material on what Fox and CNN and HBO and Netflix are telling you to do. You have to balance that out and spend the majority of your time putting things in your eye holes and your ear holes that will guide you towards the goals, wishes, and dreams and travel that you want to be. So I'm sorry if I got there off on a little bit of a rant, but this stuff really matters to me, and I'm not perfect at it. I have failure of thought all the time, but I keep books like this around to remind me about things like that I need to pay better attention to my thoughts. So thoughts. For those of you that know what TLDR means, too long didn't read, thought is everything in this world. And without it, or with the wrong thoughts, you are going to seriously screw up your life. Hey, as always, like, share, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I'm kind of curious of those of you that have this book or another book that you have that has really changed your life. I've got a stack of them. As a matter of fact, my most recent ones are right back over here. There they are, right back over here. It's a whole stack of books that are pending on my immediate read list right there. And I've actually got another one in the car by Damon John, The Power of Being Broke, that I'm going through right now for you, and I'll share some tips and tricks out of those as I read them. But as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And for those that listen to the podcast, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. We will talk to you soon. And thanks for being a fan of StopDoingNothing.com. Like, share, comment. Don't forget. Take care.